Can you build me a all-in-one system?
Yeah, so I actually can. There are a lot of ways to build a all-in-one system, and actually, you can kind of get really deep into that. So now, obviously, there's like a lot of software and a lot of platforms, right? You got ClickFunnels, you have High Level, you have WordPress, you have um, Kajabi, Teachable sometimes, and some people use. Some of these can be considered all-in-one systems. Some of these can be considered some systems or platforms that do a specific thing. Like for instance, ClickFunnel was always known for doing funnels. Now they have ClickFunnels 2.0, which does like the membership side, the website, the funnels, all of those things. But that is a specialty of mine. I build all-in-one platforms, usually around a community. So the type of websites I build are social platforms, like let's say Facebook, for an example, for a teacher, a coach, or a business, to have all of those things inside of one place, not only just for their customers, but for their employees or partners and affiliates and things like that. So they don't have to use multiple outside systems, if that was the case, depending on how they set up that, core system.
So I'm kind of thinking like in terms of, I don't know, are you familiar with Mighty Networks?
Very familiar with Mighty Networks.
Okay. So is it kind of like that?
What the heck?
Uh-oh.
I'm back. That was really weird. My Wi-Fi was being weird. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
So is it kind of like Mighty Networks as far as like community goes?
Yeah, so that's a perfect example. Is you have Mighty Networks. You could say things like Patreon. And there's the difference between those platforms, and I'm being very technical and granular here. There's two things wrong with those. Not say wrong with those platforms, but why I don't consider those platforms all in one sometimes. So as far as like when we talk about community, there's certain components of that. So you have like sending messages, following people, groups, forums, activity feed, things like that, which those platforms have. The problem is when you want to customize and have everything as your own, whether it's the header, whether it's being an open source platform or things like that, they don't allow you to do those things. So I actually build on something called WordPress, which I believe is one of the best platforms out there. One, because it's open source, which means that anything can be built upon it. And there truly is no limitation, whether you're using code or not using code, which is really big. And then there are other things that go into platforms that sometimes Mighty Networks, it doesn't get very deep into it. So you can have notifications, you could have push notifications, you could have scalability into an app. Do you actually own 100% of that data, right? So that's another thing. When you sign up for platforms, whether it's like Shopify, Wix, Weebly, Square, when you upload your data into these, you actually don't own 100% of that data, which we know data is really important. Whereas when you use something like WordPress and different plugins, you actually own all of your data. So that's one of the main reasons, a couple of reasons why I end up going specifically not using Mighty Networks and things like that, because most people, as their community grows, they really want to customize and have something different. And those platforms are closed source. It doesn't allow them to grow in that capacity.
Well, thank you for that breakdown, because I didn't know that. I was like, oh, should I have a community over there? I didn't start one, but I was like, I thought
they're nice. They're nice to start with. To be honest, I would probably say Discord is something better. But when you start a community, I would say the best thing, because obviously there's a lot that goes into that, really kind of niche and pick down and kind of envision. Like a lot of people that come to me from communities come from Facebook groups, right? Facebook groups, they have a community, but you can't really monetize off there. If it is, it's super hard. You can't automate it, right? Because Facebook doesn't have APIs. There are so many things that go into that. Like, for example, one of my websites, when somebody signs up, I have an automation that goes into my Discord just in case, because I have a backup Discord server. They actually get a shout out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or whatever social medias that they sign up with when they register. And there's just a lot of things that go on. Whereas Mighty Networks, even though I just came up with a very complex automation, might not be able to do that because they're a closed source platform and they don't open and integrate with a lot of other stuff.
Gotcha.
okay, cool.
Tylen Child is a very knowledgeable dude.
That's my guy Jeremy right there. Appreciate that, boss man.